Aries. I will now be laying out 3 more cards using the Rider-Waite deck to have a look and see what we can learn about this relationship that's coming up around you. What's sort of bringing you together, where the strengths could lie, just any other aspects of the connection and of the relationship. So let's have a look and see what cards come up for you, Aries. 3 cards into the insight of this next major relationship that you have coming up around you. Okay. Okay. Let's start off with the 7 of Swords. Now, the 7 of Swords can often indicate deception, insecurity, and obstacles. Because there's 2 air cards here and the Death card, which can be Scorpio, which is mystery, I definitely feel like with the 7 of Swords here, the relationship is going to have a lot of tiptoeing, okay? There might be periods in the relationship where you are withholding information from the other person, or the other person is withholding information from you. The 7 of Swords isn't always deception, so it might not necessarily be that you're lying to each other, but it could be a relationship that, especially in the beginning of the relationship, there'll be a lot of dancing around each other, sort of not giving things a label, a lot of ambiguity, okay? So a lot will be open to interpretation, and it's not like, for a lot of you, you might not come together straight away and gain the clarity that you want or that you need. So for some of you, it could be somewhat puzzling. There's also a bit of scarcity in this connection, as in someone's not always going to be readily accessible to you, or you're not always going to be available to them when they need you. And scarcity definitely breeds interest. And I feel for some of you, it's almost like wanting what you can't have necessarily. It's like you can have them, but you can't have all of them. Or they can have you, but they can't have all of you. There might be some limitations here that the 7 of Swords can bring. It can also point to communication styles, okay? Communication styles, you might avoid certain topics. You might avoid really expressing yourself, Aries. There could be obstacles, but there's obstacles to do with thinking patterns or with communication. If it's thinking patterns, then there's insecurities here. Now, I want to mention the 7 of Swords looks behind him, so he might be looking to the past. Somehow the past is going to potentially come back into this relationship, and I'll go into it in a little bit more detail when I get to the Death card. But I do feel like someone's looking back to the past here. So I don't know if some of you might have another person from the past that may just come in around this time frame, around the same time as this new love comes in. Or it could even be someone that is from the past wanting renewal or a second chance, which would be further highlighted by the fact that the Death card is here. It can also be that this relationship feels all too familiar. I don't know if the person is going to have the same attachment style, for example, as your ex. I don't know if there's similar tendencies or interests or behavior or traits or characteristics, but there might be some sort of element of familiarity, okay? And that's also sort of highlighted in the Page of Swords, because he too looks back. Now, for some of you, you see how they're looking back at each other? For some of you, I feel like this is a relationship where you're going to be very codependent, and you might not be able to make decisions on your own without this person's input or judgment or something of this kind here. It could be that one of you are more this way than the other, but I feel the fact that they're both looking back could indicate that you both need each other to lean on. And in one way, this sort of codependency is admirable. It shows, yes, you know, it's important to maintain individuality in a relationship, absolutely, but at the same time, to have someone, you know, you can come to and express yourself and tell them how you feel and value their input and want their input. And you know, that's making them feel valued and cared for and included and heard and appreciated, absolutely. And vice versa, Aries, them coming to you, whether it's with problems, whether it's with successes, with accolades, it's the underlying message here is they want to include you into their life, and they want to celebrate the good, they want to celebrate the bad, they want you to be there by their side. So I like that. I feel like it points to a lot of codependency, and as I said, a lot of appreciation for you. But for others, the Page of Swords lacks the confidence to make a decision without the other. So for some of you, it might be someone is too much. It depends, you know, on other psychological factors, on personality traits, on upbringing and of development. So there's so many things that come into play here, but essentially I feel it can point to someone constantly needing reassurance. And if someone is constantly needing reassurance in the relationship, whether it's you, whether it's them, it indicates insecurity. Okay, someone is not as self-confident or doesn't believe in themselves to go ahead and make a certain decision without the green light from you, for example. So you might see these sorts of tendencies in this person. Now, for some of you, there could also be trust issues in this relationship. And I say that because there's deception involved. So someone is either coming in with a fresh case of deception here, Aries. Now, it could be you. You might have been cheated on. You might have cheated. You might have found that someone wasn't being truthful about something happening in their life, in your previous relationships. Or it could be that this person has come out of that, and maybe that's where the insecurity is coming from. Again, that's more a psychological analysis, and that won't be the same for all of you. But for some, it could definitely be that this person is not as trusting. Okay, so someone is coming in not as trusting. So yes, there will be boundaries. Yes, someone's walls will be up. It is a very powerful connection though. The Death card is here. This is a major arcana card. The Death card can symbolize the past, okay? Whether it's someone from the past that's coming back in for another relationship, it could definitely be an ex, okay? And especially if you've had this sort of trauma or circumstances around this person, it could be that they're coming up again, okay? So there's definitely, if it's not a person from the past, it could be a past life connection, okay? If you believe in those things, it could absolutely be that's where that familiarity could stem from, Aries, okay, for some of you. But the Death card is major. It's life transforming, and it can really bring us out of old ways, old patterns, into new spiritual beliefs, new goals, just a new lease on life, a new outlook. So I do feel like it's a very powerful relationship. It has the potential to change you. It also has the potential to change this other person. So this says to me that there's a lot of transformation that's going to happen in this relationship. Whether this is internal transformation, perhaps emotional transformation, maybe this is just transformation as in you starting to live with this person. You've never lived with someone else before, or you think about having children, or you think about marriage, and things that you hadn't sort of given life to, you hadn't given any thought to, you hadn't really implemented in your life. When this relationship comes about, Aries, a lot of things could happen, okay? A lot of new things could happen. But a lot of the past could repeat itself as well, okay? History could repeat itself, and whatever that means to you or for you in this relationship, and however it applies to the Arians watching, nonetheless, there could be that element of familiarity and history repeating itself, absolutely. But it is Scorpio energy, okay? Scorpio as a water sign does become very, very attached. It is known to be quite codependent, and it is known to fall very hard. So even to a point of obsession here. So for some of you, there could be obsessive traits with this person. You might become a little bit more obsessive over them. You know, the Scorpio is a bit mysterious, even somewhat secretive energy. So I don't know if there's going to be a few secrets that you're going to expose from this person, or secrets that you've never told someone else, you're going to tell them. And there's, you know, this comes with confiding. It's a powerful thing to let someone in. But skeletons in the closet, maybe you'll feel like you can trust this person enough to tell them things. Maybe it's a way of securing the relationship. Obviously, it's going to be different for everyone watching, but there could be that sort of element here. But like I said, elusiveness and a bit of mystery. So I don't know if this is during the relationship or when you first meet, but it could be that there's some sort of mystery, something about this person or in the relationship that you just won't be able to put your finger on. So, I mean, it'll be interesting how it shapes up, but feel free to let me know in the comments. That'd be much appreciated. Otherwise, thank you again for tuning in.